Good morning, everybody. My name's Richard Hayward. I'm one of the account managers here at Derbyshire. Work closely with the team at Solutions for Accounting, who've kindly set up this meeting today with you all. So thank you and welcome. So today we're going to go through various different topics and subjects from the Derbyshire portfolio of products. I think there's quite a few people I've probably met or have spoken to over the last couple of months and years. So nice to speak to you all again. For those of you who are new, I'm just going to do a very quick introduction to who Derbyshire are as a company and how we work, and go through the products and see what we have available to help you during these unprecedented times. So Derbyshire, founded in 2002. We specialise in add-ons for Sage 200 mainly. We do plug into other Sage products as well, but 200 is fair to say our main customer base in the UK. We've won many awards over the years, and we like working closely with businesses like yourselves to help you run more efficiently in terms of document management, business process, and collections management. So I think over the time since maybe I've spoken to you, and well, that's in the past or more recently, we've actually got quite a few new products that have just been launched to market that we've not spoken about, and I'll be covering some of those on today's session as well, actually. So for those of you that know the name Spindle, that might be because you know historically something called Spindle Professional. Just to inform you that product is now towards the end of life. So the new version to you is what we call Spindle Document Management. Now, your existing license will be sort of migrated over to what we call document distribution, if that's the case. But ultimately, any new licenses you purchase is all under the Spindle Document Management name and function. So today I'll be going to go through the Spindle Document Management suite. I'm also then going to be introducing what we call doc recognition. So again, relatively new to maybe some of you. So if you're sort of processing a lot of supplier invoices, purchase invoices, probably in the region of anything above sort of 40 or 50 a week, then doc recognition is a fantastic new product that's going to help automate a lot of that keying in of supplier invoices. And what we found when we were introducing a product like that is that a lot of customers weren't able to go automated because their approval system was all paper-based. So what happens when you take people's paperwork away? They're no longer able to do approvals. So we actually created a whole new web approvals platform called Spindle Approvals, of course, which allows businesses to go, again, continue the journey of going paperless and allow invoices to be approved while stakeholders are out on the road. They're not tied to the office. They could just approve them on a mobile phone app, even whether that's Android or iPhone. So again, giving a lot of people the flexibility that they really need in running a system. If I've got time, I'm just going to touch on what we call Spindle Self-Serve. So again, during the period as we are today, where people are placing more orders online, customers are wanting to fulfill and get more information, then we have self-serve. So it allows customers to view documents, view their account, and view as much information as they can. Excel Data Bridge, another new product of ours, which I'll try and squeeze in if I have time. And this is fantastic because if you're having to key in a lot of data into the system from maybe disparate systems, or even if it's just a simple task of keying in lots of taxable journals, then Excel Data Bridge allows you to key that data into Excel and just import it in batch directly to Sage. That particular sheet that I'm referring to of entering in taxable journals isn't even a function available within Sage itself. So again, that can help streamline your business process. One of the other functions perhaps that I'll try and show is just keying in batches of sales orders or even expenses. That's, you've got lots of different options there. Okay, so in terms of the document management software that we're going through, first of all, is distribution and capture capability of it. So it's fully integrated into Sage. It allows you to send any document a click of a button via email. So if you're sending out lots of statements at the end of the month, it has the ability to automatically grab copies of the invoices and send them in one go. So if I was to send Stentley a statement of his account at the end of this month, he would get an email from me, statement attached, and the 4 invoices that are overdue on that statement as well. So it reduced the email that he sends to me saying, "Oh, can I have a copy invoice, please? I've not found it." And that, we all know that happens a lot of time. So if we can help reduce the number of customer service calls that you get or emails coming into the accounts department, then brilliant. I think we'll all be happy. We also have the ability to link to something like Sage Pay or WorldPay. So Solutions for Accounting are a Sage Pay partner, so they can look to add pay buttons on your documents. So that could be an invoice, could be a statement, could be a pro forma, even quotations. We can add these pay buttons on, and that just means that you can get paid faster from your customers. So again, if it can help reduce the number of calls coming into the company, so ordinarily you have to take payment over the phone, customers could just do it themselves. The other thing is just clear visibility of being able to view documents inside Sage and also outside of Sage using the portal. So again, a lot of businesses today still will have like an order pack of documents, and once the order's been fulfilled, that order pack will then be just filed away in a cabinet somewhere, and reams of paper stuffed in cabinets, taking up valuable floor space. And I think, again, what this pandemic has highlighted is the fact that people can work remotely, but people can work remotely when they've got the tools in place. So as we're all working from home and a query comes up, we're all too often used to going away to a filing cabinet and dishing out the paperwork that we actually need to, find out about that query. Now, obviously, don't have that liberty at the moment. We can give you a complete electronic version of all your documents visible within Sage. But at the same time, if you want your customers to be able to view their documents linked to a particular sales order or against their account, then again, that can be made available to them as well. So self-service, I think, is really going to boom from here in. And I think it's fantastic that we've got a product that's ready and available for you too. When it comes to documents coming into your business, again, one of the common examples would be supplier invoices. But actually, if you're not a purchasing type company, you're more sort of manufacturing and sales, then you're still going to have goods received to fulfill your stock. So that's paperwork coming into your business. Customers placing orders, they're probably sending you a purchase order by email. It'd be great to link that to a sales order in Sage. Even just simple things like attaching bank statements to a cash book account or adding credit reports to one of your customers or suppliers. We could do all that electronically for you. Even scenarios where if goods have been returned to you because they've been damaged or they've been damaged in transit, or maybe they're faulty, surely you should be taking a photo of that item for your records and linking that to a stock record in Sage or against the customer order. Again, these are all different scenarios we can help you with. If you're a company that has your own vans and your own vehicles and you want a quick and efficient way to manage proof of deliveries, then again, we've got the facility to help you with that. I was speaking to a customer today that's just going live with the system, and hopefully that's going to help them go paperless, because long gone are the days where paperwork is going to be handled by drivers and the customer signs it. I think customers are going to be as distant as they can be. So if we can provide them some form of electronic way of signing for the goods or the delivery, then that's going to feed straight back to your Sage system to give, again, a better and clearer audit as to your deliveries. but it also helps you to assign deliveries to your different drivers. Because if you've got 1 or 2 drivers and you're spending time working out their route plans every day, then again, we've got a facility called proof of delivery, which actually allows the transport manager or the person in charge to route deliveries every day for the drivers, and it'll be optimized by Google Maps. So again, big efficiency saving there. So one quick update for those of you that are already using Spindle document management. So new for June 2020 is we've now integrate fully into Sage's project accounting module. So if you're a project-based organization and you want to attach drawings, specification documents, again, any costings, any quotations, then you can add them all against your projects in Sage. That will include any sort of expense claim documentation, you name it. It's a lot of flexibility. So I've had a lot of requests over the years for this particular integration. I can confirm to say that the latest version of Spindle document management has got that included. If you're already running Spindle document management, it just requires an upgrade to your existing software. So it's part and part of the license that you already have. So do get in touch with the team at Solutions for Accounting, and they can just advise you how long it'll take to upgrade and so on. In terms of the license, then that's it's included. It just require a little bit of time to carry out that work, but not a big deal. Okay, so let's take a quick look at how this all works in real life. I think everyone's keen to see how it actually works rather than me talking. So if we look at maybe sales order processing first, I'm just going to quickly go through that flow. So every time I receive an order from a customer, I'll typically receive a purchase order from them. So by keying the account, keying in the order, add the items, which I'll do as quick as I can. So we add an extra button at the bottom of the screen for you, is the gist of it. Now, if you receive your purchase orders by email, we're going to be using that second option there. If you tend to receive purchase orders by mail, you've got it paper-based already, then you're going to probably scan it there and then. Okay, so we're going to choose that option there, capture file, hit save. Okay, so orders created 5133 for Abby. And here we can go and browse for it. Or you could just simply drag and drop from a mailbox. So purchase order might be here. You could either actually drag the whole email behind there, or you could just grab the attachment like that into this space behind, and that'll link up. So again, it's super easy to use. So all you have to do is hit archive. That's your job done. That's your document linked to the sales order in Sage. So in terms of the next step, some of you might be doing order acknowledgements, some of you might not be, but if you want a quick, surefire way of sending them out quickly and easily, then this is where the distribution element of Spindle comes into play. Because Spindle, you'll see as a printer like that there. Okay, and that's gone out by email. So one of the functions that we could turn on for you as a customer is, as we send out the order confirmation like this, we can actually go and grab a copy of the PO that I linked up just a moment previous, and send it again in the same email. So that again reduces the number of queries. Now, as I was referring to earlier, is there a way we can help speed up order processing inside Sage? Well, yeah, there is, because there's this what we call the Selfserve Portal. You can see the bottom left corner, and this allows me as a customer, Festival Homes I work for now, to be able to log into my account, I've got a bit of a promotional tile going on here. Fantastic. I've got 20% off certain items. Brilliant. Let's have a quick look. So this is my account. I'm looking at the account details. Some of these we can turn on and off. I can see my last 5 invoices and credits, my last 5 orders, and that's specifically on the dashboard that we're currently in. Again, this dashboard could be turned off for some customers if you want. Most thing I'll probably do is just look at my invoicing list there. I can see actually I've got quite a few overdue invoices I probably need to start paying off. But at least it gives me an update on my account. I've also got a statement here. And also, if I go to the order history, I can see the status of my orders that I've placed with Homestyle Kitchens. And I can see if I drill in to a specific order, like that one there, I can see what I ordered, how much it was, any messages related to that particular order that I might have sent to Homestyle and vice versa, and potentially any documents that I would have linked up previously to that. So maybe I could see a copy of my purchase order that I sent Homestyle Kitchens, order acknowledgements, proof of deliveries. Everything is visible against the sales order. So it just makes my life as a customer a lot easier with information to hand. So again, I can see all those documents in the documents repository just for me. If I just log out and log in as an internal user, so I'm now working for Homestyle Kitchens, I'm an administrator. I can flick between lots of different customer accounts. Now, the beauty is I'm at home today. I'm not on the network. I'm not using Sage. I've got all the information to hand across all the customer accounts, but we're just looking at the sales accounts just to remind you on that. I can even go as far as to allow customers to place orders themselves. So rather than me having to place the order in Sage as I just did, then be able to place the order as a customer. Super easy. The address details, the PO reference number, place the order. That'll actually place the order within sort of 5 seconds or so within Sage and give me a confirmation of that order. If you've got people spending a lot of time keying in orders and you want a quick way, it's not like and you're doing business to business sales, because it's not, full web shop. I'll say that, but if you're doing a lot of business to business sales and you want a quick, easy order entry form, then this is a great way to get going with that. And typically you'll be live with this particular system within 1 or 2 days only, so very quick indeed. But anyway, so orders being created, it's being acknowledged. We can dispatch the goods, we can print the invoices and complete the order off. Now, in terms of as Sage users, then we just want to be able to view all the documents relating to a particular order. So we can go to sales order list, hit view. Example, Richard. And you'll see any documents linked to that order there. So in this case, we've got the purchase order and the order acknowledgement. But that will follow through because you'll be able to see dispatch, picking list, proof of delivery, invoice, all against a particular order. And likewise, now when I go to the sales ledger and go to a particular account, you're going to get that same sort of traceability or audit function. I'll be able to view all the documents related to this particular invoice there. If you want to view documents related to this invoice, you just select it, hit view, and you're away. Now you can only see there's one document linked to that one. So there's all my documents in one place, nice and easy. There's lots of different options about finding documents. You could do it in Sage, as I've done here. You could log into the self-service website and view them in there. There's another option, and we call it document search. So I want to view all documents related to a particular order. 5131. Enter, and that'll bring them all back there. There might be other scenarios where you've got the auditors in, the dreaded auditors, and they're saying to you, I'd like to view all purchase invoices for the account Atlas for a certain period of time. You can filter by invoice date and run it for a period of time like that, and all your supplier invoices will come in. You can filter more detail by cost center, department, and so on. So it gives you a lot more efficiencies in retrieving documents, whether it's for your own purpose or for the auditors when they eventually contact you. So for the people on the session that use a more sort of purchase heavy, then if we just take a quick look at purchase order processing, then it's very similar, because if you're keying in orders into Sage, or perhaps you're using Solution for Accounting's requisitions module, there might be documents you might want to link to an existing order. So you can either do it at the point of entering the order fresh, or going to a order that's already been keyed in, albeit via requisitions. You go to the order, and here, for my business scenarios, I like to attach the quotation against this order, because that keeps everything all in one place. So let's go and browse for a quote. That's all quickly and easily linked up. Now from here, you can see a little drop down. This just helps you specify what type of document it is. So later on in a month's time, I want to find all documents relating to quotes from supplier. That's why this one will come up, because it's got that filter on it. That's all archived away now. But those document types, they are customizable. We can add new ones as well, should we need to. But I like to think we've covered the majority of user case scenarios, but we're not perfect. And so if we have missed one, then it takes just a couple of minutes to add a new one for you. So not really a big deal. So the next phase is to print the orders off, and I like to print them through the Spindle printer, because that'll email the customer, email the supplier, I should say, and we want to keep a copy of it. So Spindle will email and archive a copy automatically against the purchase order. So now we'll have two documents. We'll have the quote and the purchase order. The next step is to do the goods receipting. So again, that's pretty paper intensive, because all the deliveries coming into the depot, you want to scan those in. And you can scan them in pretty much there and then. But I find that the customers I speak to, they prefer the person doing the goods entry to just print a barcode off and stick it on the goods in note, because that paperwork then is handed over to the accounts team that like to do all the paper scanning. Because what the barcode does, it allows it to be referenced against this particular order. So when the account staff take all the barcoded paperwork to the scanner is then used to automatically detect which order that good receipt note relates to. So it's just a quicker way of scanning, I personally think. So the label printer we tend to recommend, and we always laugh because a lot of businesses already have them hiding away in a cupboard somewhere. It's a little Dymo label writer, $450, very inexpensive. Like I say, you probably already got one, so you can find a use to it. Okay, and the final step is to record the purchase invoice. So for those of you doing lower volumes of invoices, then you can just continue to use Sage and key in the invoice, but you'd have to do all the matching and just making sure the goods receipt is complete. Where what I'm going to be introducing to you is what we call Spindle purchase invoice recognition. And that's accessed via the document portal, which I'm about to load up now. So whether you're getting these invoices via email, or again, you're having to scan those in, you can just drag them in like that. grab a couple more to show you as well. Oh, excuse me. I'm driving my left-handed, not the best. Right, okay. So all I have to do is hit recognize, which was that button there. What this will do now then is submit them for recognition. So everything you're seeing on my screen is all on my computer, on premise as we call it. Actually, this solution, it's hybrid cloud. What's hybrid cloud? It's just a mix of on-premise and cloud type technology. So it means that it saves you the cost of having to sort of purchase another server for OCR functionality, which means it's a lot more cost effective for you as a customer, but it also helps the likes of ourselves at Derbyshire, Solution for Accounting, and yourselves rolling out updates. That's one of the benefits of sort of cloud-based technologies. We can roll out updates much quicker for you without any sort of downtime. So the invoices that I've submitted for recognition are these ones here. So you can see these being analysed as we speak. So I can just carry on my work now, come back to this screen in a minute or so's time. I don't have that benefit. So we'll just go straight to the first one here. And this one's asked me to verify it. It doesn't always say this. I've got this function turned on just so I can show you something, because the next stage is potentially to actually post it and archive it straight into Sage. Now, there might be some of you on the demonstration today think, oh God, no, we don't want any invoices going straight into Sage because we've got a whole new approval process in place. So that means that the system will go to that stage, sent for approval. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Let's take a look at this one first. This is me logging into the verify. This is, as you can see, in my web browser. You're actually getting a bit of a glimpse as to the new screen. Mine's just been upgraded. So here we can see a preview of the document. It's worked out who the supplier is, and in this case, as I've selected the supply reference, it's highlighting the VAT number, because it's saying that, all right, we've worked out the supplier based on the VAT number. It doesn't always have to be the case. We could detect the supplier based on the address, the company name, of course, postcode. So it's important that your Sage data is as up to date as it can be, so our system can utilize it and work out who the supplier truly is. Now, a lot of the conversations over the years you might have had around or heard about this technology is, oh, you have to spend a lot of time training it. That's because old OCR, optical character recognition OCR systems, were all zonal. What's zonal? It means that I've got a supplier, HBN, and traditionally you'd have to say, okay, the invoice number would appear somewhere there. Let's have to draw a box around it. You don't have to do that with this system, which means that you can be up and running with it a lot quicker than the older systems of way back when. I'm talking as if they're really old, but you know, it's only in the last year or two where these new systems have come into play, which is these are one of them, where you're not having to spend a lot of time training it. Now, this invoice here happens to be let's call it an overhead invoice or just a regular invoice. The system we're talking about here is able to process regular overhead invoices, and it's also able to process invoices that are linked to a purchase order within your Sage system. So in order to do that, our system is able to scan and recognize line level, so product line level details. So what we're doing here is, when it's a invoice linked to a purchase order, we know what's on your purchase order, okay, because we're doing a sync with your Sage system. I'll show you an example of that once we've done this regular overhead type invoice. And because it's a regular supplier overhead invoice, we've got to use the default nominal code for this particular supplier. okay, because we've got to use something. Now, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here and say, all right, well, this particular invoice, it needs to have additional nominal code for X, Y, Z reasons. It's all right, you're in control. You can select all available nominal codes from your Sage system like this and specify it and add any narrative here. So that's basically my job done. Okay. So the next stage is to confirm it. Yep. So like I said earlier, that could be the end of the road for this particular invoice. If there's no approval workflow in place, this will, within 5 seconds, create the invoice into Sage system. Job done. But as we said, there might be an approval workflow in place. What's an approval workflow? Well, it's something that will be set up in advance for you, and it looks something like this. So I've got one very simple routine said, if the supplier reference is equal to FOR 001, and maybe the value of that invoice is greater than or equal to £1,000 or £500, it's up to you. And maybe it's for a particular cost center. Then on those conditions being met, then it's going to go to me for approval. Okay, I'm going to get an email to say something needs approving. And I'm going to be taken, once I click that email link, it's going to take me straight to that request, which is here. You can see when it was created, when I viewed it, you can see all the nominal data here, the invoice number, the amounts. I get a preview of that invoice there as well. So I could do this, the comfort of my home. I'm not on the network. There's even an iPhone or Android app, which basically means you can do it while you're out on the road. You don't have to be on your iPad or on your laptop. And here you can approve or reject it. You can't reject it without adding a comment. Once you approve it, again, within 5-10 seconds, that invoice will be completed and be created into Sage 200 for you, and the documents will be visible against the invoice in Sage as well. So it's a lot quicker, a lot more efficient way of processing supplier invoices. So as I said, there'll be some invoices that are linked to a purchase order. So let's just take a quick look at this one here. I might have done this one already. Yep. So this one does have a purchase order number on it there. Again, actually, there's nothing wrong with this. I've just got something to show you. It's picked up the lines on the order all automatically. Now, again, in real life, what if on that invoice the quantity is incorrect? Well, it depends. Now, if the quantity doesn't exceed what's on the purchase order, then actually there's nothing wrong with that, because it could be that tomorrow I get another invoice for the remaining amount. Now, if there's discrepancy on the price, then it's going to flag up in red for you, of which you can then make a judgment call whether to override it or actually discard this invoice and request a new one be sent. But if you also just want to check what's on the purchase order for your reference, then you can do. There's different shortcuts available to you. I've just pressed the wrong button. Right, go back. Basically, there's a shortcut on your keyboard, which is F4. I hit Alt and F4, which, as we all probably know, closes the screen down. Now that one's locked because it thinks I've already done it. Okay.
Richard, sorry to you. Mandy's put a hand up with a question for you.
Sure thing.
You unmute yourself, Mandy, to ask the question.
Hi, Mandy. Can you mute, or do you want to just type your message and maybe Ian can pick that up?
Sorry, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hi, Mandy.
Right, sorry. A couple of questions on the postings of the invoices. When the document is approved and it goes into Sage, does it check to see if it's a duplicate?
Absolutely, it does. Yes.
Okay, and what happens if you have different levels of authorization? So in our company, we have a authorization level at 5,000, 50,000 and 100,000.
Okay.
So it's possible that one invoice will need to go out 3 times for approval.
So we would structure the workflow in different ways. So in this case, I've got myself as that approver.
Yeah.
We'd build up logic to say if it was between certain values of 500 and £1,000, then it will go to both Ian and myself for approval, and any one of us two must approve it. But in your case, all approvers must approve. So
can you do this presumably with in our system? We don't use the purchase order process as it's supposed to be. We use it as an invoice register.
Okay.
So could we set it up to do that for those as well, for any invoice, or if it doesn't go through, because we have a lot that we post live rather than through the invoice register or the purchasing order processing system?
So as long as you put the invoice through the invoice recognition platform, it doesn't matter whether it's a overhead invoice or a invoice linked to purchase order. This is either. It doesn't matter, but this approvals only works with invoices put through the invoice recognition. It doesn't work as such. If I was to key in a manual invoice into Sage and then want some sort of approval workflow, it just sits on the back of the invoice recognition only.
Okay, and again, because it's going to be quite a hard system to change, people tend to just sign invoices and send them back by email, which is how we take them off. Is there some way if they do that we can bypass this process so that we can say that we've got the invoice back authorized instead of them coming back and signing it on this?
I'm not sure I follow that scenario. Sorry, just say that again for me.
So a lot of people, when they get this stuff emailed, what they will do is they will actually print stuff off and manually sign it and send it back rather than actually go on somewhere and approve it or do electronic signatures. So is there some way to, if they did that, to bypass the systems that we can clear the invoice off using this, if it's gone out this way?
I mean, yeah, it would mean a change in your process. I mean, you know, if you did a manual approval, I think we'd have to understand why you're doing the manual approval. Is it certain suppliers that you do that for only? Because we just turn this function off for those particular suppliers you do a manual approval for. Again, I'll probably spend a bit more time with you personally and talk through these. I need to know, I think, more of the process to understand it better.
All right.
But yeah, we can set a conversation with Mandy, that'd be great.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Anybody else? Gives me a time to take a breather and grab a drink. Any other questions come in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself for a second? But whilst we're waiting, then you can see this is basically your status screen that you're going to be, the purchasing clerk will be looking at. You can see anything that's been posted and archived. I mean, for me, anything that's been posted and archived in my mind, that's complete. So I'll just clear that out. Anything else, things like discrepancy or failed to post or request rejected, you know, I'll just let this finish. If you hover over the particular comment, like this one, failed to post there, we can take a quick look why. So if you've not matched all of the invoices, quantities, receipts, so it's basically I've not GRN'd those quantities in order to post that invoice. However, you can do a manual override and decide to post it anyway. You might decide, well, actually, we've got the item sitting next to me. They'll be GRN'd kind of later on. We're fine. Let's just post it. So that'll now post to Sage. Likewise, requests rejected, incorrect values for approval, and so on. So, you know, you've got all that functionality within here. If I go back to approvals, you've got your requests, and then you can do your filtering, so you can see all the ones that have been rejected. You can drill into each one, and you can see, the reason why it was rejected as well. So you've got that audit available to you. Just look at the dashboard. If you just have a big long list of all pending approvals, then it might be that you just export these out to Excel, send a stern email to everybody saying, look, can you start to get these cleared off by end of play this week, because we've got these sitting outside of Sage. So you've got that to export too. So like I said, you could do it on your Android phone or iPhone. We're going to see if I've got a slide just to show you those screens. 1 second. Yes, I do. So you sign in. You've got all your invoices requiring your attention. You can see all the data. You can view the document, PDF there. Approve or reject it. So again, the good thing about this system is, as a business, if you've got, say, one purchasing clerk and then you've got 30 people that potentially need to approve something, you buy the one license for your clerk to do the processing. We don't license based on approvers. So whether you've got one approver or 50, it actually makes no difference in the costings. So that's a barrier to a lot of businesses looking at a system like this, because we've got so many non-Sage users that need to approve things. You're not going to have that barrier with our system. So that's really important to know. Okay, how are we for time, Sunley? All okay?
Sentley's having some technical problems at the moment.
Is he? Oh no.
Yeah, I think we're okay. We've kind of said about an hour for this, but I mean, I guess it depends how long people are happy to stay on for. How much longer have you got to talk about, Richard?
We've got lots of things to talk about, as ever, as you all know.
Well, I mean, I presume you can probably go on for a little bit, and if people need to duck out, if you've got like an appointment at 12 or something, then of course you can, or if you want to send in any messages, or if there's anything specific, then you can always drop us an email and we can get Richard or Sentley to contact you at a different time. But I see no reason why you can't continue on, Richard, and if people are happy to hang on, then they can hang on.
Awesome. Okay. Fantastic. We'll carry on then. So one of the new products that we've just launched is what we call Spindle Report Scheduler. So again, if we want to, or if we're spending a lot of time creating reports and having to distribute them every week, or if we are needing to keep on top of certain customers and suppliers for various different reasons, then this is where the report scheduler really comes into its own. So it's built integrated into Sage. I'll just close one of these screens down, and you'll see it as a little drop-down item here within your Sage menu. So when we load that up, you've then got visibility of all your custom or your default reports, layouts in Sage. So in my example that I just set up this morning, I've set up the report in Sage is called Stock Profit Report by Customer Summary. Okay, so I'm just going to open that up. And basically here we can do a recurring schedule to run every day. I want it to run every 20 minutes, starting at 10:50 today for 2 days as I've set it up, and it wants to email this account. And this relates to this particular customer, Abby. If the product group is maybe in this case accessories, then I want to create this report. Okay, so that's already run a couple of times, as you can see here. Every 20 minutes, it's creating that report for me. So if you've got particular reports like low stock levels, if you've got customers or suppliers, or even if you just want to keep an eye on your own stock levels, then any of these reports you'll more than likely be running manually. Or if there's certain conditions that are met and you want to alert particular people, then this is the product for you. So you've got a lot of flexibility around that. I mean, even down to tasks like this. In fact, there you go. I've got an email just now. So I've got new picking lists just being created for me. And that's, again, for Abby. So someone also with a Dracer demonstration environment is running a scheduler and it's creating the picker lists for me as well. So pretty much any report or any layout in Sage you want to schedule, you can with the system. The different options are this. You could look to email them to particular people, and that could be separated by semicolon for multiple email addresses. If you like it to go to the Sage spooler, you've got that option if you want to do email and spool. Or if you just want it to go straight to the printer, then no problem. There's functionality coming in the near future whereby you'll actually be able to print straight to Spindle, and Spindle will be the distributing device. So that's something. You would need the server version of Spindle to achieve this. We've just not packaged up the pricing for that just yet. So bear with us, but that's all available to you. So spooler, email and spooler, or printer. Different outputs, PDF or Excel. I think because a lot of these are reports, then you may prefer to have the Excel output, but it's your call. But you can run this every day, weekly, monthly. You could do as a one-time option only as well. And you can have as many automations as you want. They tend to run on a 15-minute cycle. So you're not going to be able to run these reports every minute. I can't see why you would, but every 15 minutes, these cycles will be able to run for you. So that's new, very cost-effective package. You could be up and running with this within half a day. And that will include some training from the team at Solutions for Accounting as well. And again, this product can quite easily be installed remotely, so no problem there. It will typically be installed on your PC or maybe on your server, and it's site specific. So if you have 10 companies in your group, you just buy the one license, and that will cover all 10 companies in your company group. So again, very cost effective in terms of licensing. It's not user driven either. So just clarifying that point. Okay, so that's one new product to introduce into you. The other product, which I'm going to see if I can show you. Yeah, and this is what we were referring to earlier on as Excel data bridge. Okay, so this is for those tasks that you're having to key in a lot of data into Sage. That's this application here, Excel data bridge. So this is, again, a new product. So within your Excel program, you'll have what we call functions or sheets, and you've got lots of different options available to you. Some of the different functions you can see on our website. So you've got nominal ledger, journal entries, your purchase invoices, sales invoices, receipts, payments, project cost adjustments. I won't read all these out. I'm sure you can read, but by all means, please visit the website just to view those in more detail. So you basically get a template, okay? And now these templates can be customized. So if you've got different tables, different fields, you can set all your dates and parameters, and then you just submit it. So this product will do your validation for you, and you can validate before you submit it to Sage. So if you, by doing that validation, you can make any tweaks, and this gives you real feedback on that, and it'll tell you which line, which row is incorrect. Again, very quick and easy to operate and run. So if you're having to key in a lot of data, again, we can set up a one-to-one demonstration with you to go through in more detail. I mean, some of the templates that I've got in my demo kit are things like, yeah, sales order multi-line, something like that. So you specify the customer, order dates, promise dates, numbers, and submit it, and then that will create the order into Sage for you. So if you've already got a web shop and you're having to do, or you've got a way of taking orders, you might be able to export the data into here and submit them into Sage. Of course, you've got your standard Sage functionality of data imports, but standard Sage data imports aren't always cover all areas. So again, worth having a conversation with Senley, with Ian, with Sean, just to find out what your data input requirements are, and they can suggest whether it's a standard Sage import or whether Excel Data Bridge can help you with that process. Cool. Okay, so if I just do a quick recap, because we're covering quite a few things today. Lots and lots of windows open. Right. So far today, we've covered document management, more recently report scheduling and recognition. We've actually covered self-serve as well, Excel Data Bridge. And because I'm cheeky, I've got a couple of minutes left to spare, I think. I'm just going to quickly give you a glimpse of the Credit Hound application, because again, that is a very popular program right now, because as businesses are returning to work, first thing that's needed really is just to see where we are in terms of cash flow, see what money we can get in quickly. And Credit Hound is a tool that help you do just that. So it's a credit collections or credit control product. And the great thing is that it can send out automated dunning emails or scheduled dunning telephone calls. And rather than have one particular chasing process for all your customers, you could be a lot more specific with this program. Because when you think about it, do you chase your best customer the same way you would a smaller customer that never ever pays you on time? No, of course you don't. You treat them differently. And that's what Credit Hound's about, really. You can have different processes. So if, for example, I've got some poor paying customers and I want to be very proactive with them, I'm going to call this a proactive email, and this is 10 days before due date. Why? Because I know that customers always complain that they never receive the invoices. Well, if I chase them 10 days in advance, so -10, and send them a nice friendly email, but I'm also going to attach all the invoices that are due on those as well. Oh, come on. I did not reset my data. 2 seconds. So as you can see, Credit Hound is a separate application to Sage, and it does require a quick sync, which I forgot to do. So I was in a rush. And let's run this off. So I've got 25 accounts that are all going to get a preemptive or proactive phone call. We can still intervene saying, actually, don't do it for these ones. So the difference here, I'm not having to print off an aged debtor report. I'm not going to have to check what's been receipted in Sage either, or what payments have come in, because this is looking at your Sage system. So it knows I've got 22 accounts that I need to chase. I can basically chase them at a click of a button. So now all these are going to go out via email. And when I go to look at the accounts list, you've got this last chase day column. And this will obviously update for those 22 accounts as it's just done. But when I go and look at a specific account, rather than have an aged debt report printed and loads of my scribbles on it, I've got a customer account with a clear audit trail as to what we've done to chase that particular invoice, which we can see here. We've got these 2 invoices that aren't even due yet. They've already received a proactive email there. So if one of the sales reps tells me, Richard, I'm going to see this customer tomorrow, or we're going to have a phone call with them tomorrow, or a web meeting, as we're all used to these days, then you can produce a report, something like this, for their particular account. And they'll know exactly everything you've done to go and chase that customer for payment. So per invoice, all the notes. And that's chased. Now here there's a little flag because there's a query on it. So if you want to get a better idea of actually how many times in a month we're having to deal with queries, because in reality, if you're trying to bring in £20,000 every month and you brought in 5, questions are going to be asked. So you've now got something like a report to back you up on this. Because what we find is that when things are in dispute, it's not always it's not always your fault as the credit controller. It's operational issues, shall we call it. It could be the goods we sent out are faulty, or it could be the courier we happen to be using is very often damaging our goods, and that quantifies it. So again, if I was trying to bring in £20,000 this month and I brought in 5, the reason being because we sent out 3 times the goods faulty. That's completely not my fault, but I've spent a lot of time chasing those and I wasn't able to get anything active out of them. It gives you a breakdown of the notes that we logged during that query process. And that query process is built on me chasing a customer for payment. I'm on the phone to them. They said, Richard, we can't pay you because of XYZ reasons, which are customizable. The customer's telling you that the goods are faulty, need replacements ASAP. And this is me assigning it to the person responsible, like Mark, the MD. Excuse typing. That's the amount. Now I need to make sure that Mark does action that today because it's really urgent. So I've got a reminder that goes in my to-do list, my call list at 3 p.m. today. So within a couple of seconds, putting down the phone with the customer, it's really professional because now they're going to get an email detailing we've logged it, here's dispute reference number, when we're hopefully going to resolve it by. And here's the internal email that also gets sent to Mark, including your notes. Now at 3 p.m, I've got a reminder on my to-do list here. 17th at 3, which is that one there, and that's why it's in yellow. Something in blue is a promise. So I've already discussed 30 days ago that this customer here is going to pay me that amount by 3:30 yesterday. Unfortunately, they haven't, and that's the reason why it's still there. But what if they had paid on time? Well, this reminder would have automatically disappeared. So where you're producing an aged debtors report today and you're working out what's coming in your bank and you're having to cross off each one respectively, you won't have to do that anymore. We'll automatically remove a call reminder for any paid promises. So you're only left with the ones you actually need to chase. Okay, so keeping a close eye of what money's coming in all the time, and this will constantly be changing, gives you a quick idea as to your top accounts by turnover. If you just want to look at all invoices, all the customers with invoice queries on them, you can just filter on those. Nice and easy there too. So that's a quick overview of the Credit Hound program. I think if there's any question on any of the products from today's session, then by all means, please contact Beth and Ian, Sean, Sedley, Lee. So, shall I keep going? We can cover those off, but I'll hand over to Sedley to